What's up, guys? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and we are Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't want a complication. Complication.
Hi, everybody. So, one of the challenges that I have when introducing my wife, or others as a matter of fact, to board games is I have to make sure that I find a board game with a theme that they can relate to. Like everybody doesn't really get into fantasy or dungeon crawlers or war games.
Present company included.
But today, we're going to talk about a board game that I'm pretty sure everybody can relate to. And that game is called Creature Comforts.
Creature Comforts was designed by Roberta Taylor and published by Kids Table Board Games.
Let's go to the table for an overview of how this game is played. Creature Comforts is a worker placement game for 1 to 5 players, where the players take on the role of critters who are preparing their home for the upcoming winter. To set up the game, we will place the game board in the middle of the play area. Next, we will take this river dial and place it in a random rotation on the board, making sure these match up with those edges right there. And then we would take this hilltop tile and place it right here in its matching spot. Next, we're going to create our stacks of valley cards. We have our metal cards on the right and the forest cards on the left. And the forest and the metal cards each has 3 seasons. You have summer, spring, and fall. After giving each of these seasons a random shuffle, we're going to place them face down with the spring cards on the bottom, summer cards on top of that, fall cards on top of that. Then we're going to take those stacks of cards and flip them face up and place them in their appropriate spot on the game board. So now the spring card is face up. Next, we will create a supply of the 6 goods that are used in the game. We got your fruit, wood, stone, yarn, grain, and mushrooms. We will also create a supply of stories, coins, and lesson learned. Be aware that these 3 items are not considered goods. Also be aware that this is the deluxe version of the game. Next, we would take this shuffled deck of comfort cards and place them next to the bottom right hand corner of the game board, leaving room for a discard pile, and then we would deal 4 cards face up into the area that is known as the Owl's Nest. Next, we would take this stack of shuffled improvement cards and place it next to the game board in the upper left hand corner, and then deal out 6 improvement cards and place it in each of these ladder slots going down the left side of the board. Then we would take these 4 improvement tokens and put it next to that stack of improvement cards. Next, we would take this shuffled deck of traveler cards and place it in this spot on the board known as the Inn. Now the game board is all set up, ready to go. Next, each player would choose a family. So if you take a look at this family card, they have a male and a female side. And I think that's pretty cool, especially that each side has a different power you can use through the game. They will receive their home board. They will get 4 workers, 4 cottage tokens, and 2 family dice matching that player color. They would take their 4 cottages and place them to the left of their board in these scoring spots. Then we will randomly choose a start player, and they will get this early bird gets the worm token, place it next to their player board. They will also get these 4 village dice. Now, if we were setting up for a 3, 4, or 5 player game, then we would check the book, the rule book, to see if anybody gets any bonus coins. But we setting up for a 2-player game, so we don't have to worry about that. Next, starting with the start player, each player will draw 3 comfort cards off the top of the deck. And then they're going to keep it secret from the other players, and they're going to take a look at them, and they're going to keep 2 and discard 1. So let's take a look at these guys. Here you had a pot of tea. Wherever you see that heart, that's points scored at the end of the game. So to make this pot of tea, I need to return 2 fruit and 1 coin to the supply. That will give me 4 points, but I could get plus 2 points if I also have a rocking chair. This here I have a hearth. That would score me 6 points, but I need 2 wood and 3 stone to craft that. But this could give me plus 2 points for each set of wood stored here. Here I have a toy, score me 6 points, but I need wood, stone, and a storybook, one of those storybook tokens to craft this. Now, if I keep these 2, that'll work out, because if you look at my player power, my family power, when you craft any comfort that includes wood in its crafting cost, gain 1 storybook token from the supply. Both of these need wood. So I decided to keep these 2, and I return this pot of tea to a discard pile next to the comfort deck. Now the game can begin. So the game will last 8 rounds, or months as it's called in the game. And the game will end when those 2 stack of Valley cards are depleted. So there are 8 cards in each of those decks. At the beginning of each month, the players will first reveal the top card of the Traveler's deck. And that Traveler will grant you a special power or have an effect that will go off immediately. So let's take a look. All month long, stone and coins may be used as each other for any purpose. Now this stuff on the right hand side, I will go into detail about that when I start talking about the worker placement actions on the board. After the top card of the Traveler's deck has been revealed and any immediate effects resolved, then each player will simultaneously take their family die and give it a good roll, and then they're going to lock those dice in, and those are the pip values that they're going to work with this month. After each player has done that, then the players are simultaneously going to send their workers out to the different worker placement spots on the game board. Let's take a look at those worker placement spots. These are the worker placement spots that are on the board, and there are 12 of them. So when sending a worker there, each spot can have multiple workers, but each player can only have 1 worker of their color in that spot. Also, when you send a worker to those spots, you also have to be able to assign a specific die to that spot in order to activate that action. So if you look up here in the valley, I could send a worker there to get a couple mushrooms, but I also have to be able to assign a level 4 die there. Over here and get 2 wood and a fruit, but I have to be able to assign a level 5 and a level 6 die. Over here to get 2 stories and a coin, I have to be able to assign 3 die in ascending order. So if that first die is a 3, next one got to be a 4, next one got to be a 5. Now here we got the river where I could go get some stone and look up on a coin maybe. So if I'm trying to get a stone and a coin, I have to assign a level 1 die. 2 stone, I can have a level 2 or a level 3 die. Here you have your owl's nest, and you can send a worker there and assign your die in order to get more cards into your hand. So you can send a worker here, assign any number die, that's what that pound sign means, and you can get any one of these face-up cards and place it in your hand. You can send a worker here. If you have a value 1 or 2 die, you get to draw 2 cards off the top of the deck. For all other values, you get 1 card off the top of the deck. Over here, you can go to the workshop, and based on the number of pips on your die, you can go that far up the ladder in order to get that improvement card. Now the thing is, when you get the improvement card, you have to be able to build it right away. This doesn't go into your hand. So when you build this improvement card, it gives you a special power that you can use for the rest of the game. But also, it might give you another place to assign die, and you don't have to send a worker there. So if I decide to build this field, I will place it nearby the board, and every time I assign a die there, any number, I will get 2 grain. I'll put one of my cottages on there to show that I own it, and then when other players send their die there, they will get 2 grain, but I also will get 1 grain. Here you have the end, and you can send a worker and a die there in order to visit the traveler, and he would do something for you. So if you look here, for every 1, 2, or 3 die, you would be able to turn a stone into any other good base, and that you can do that as many times as the value of the die. So if I did a 3 die, I could do this 3 times. Now keep in mind, you see that symbol there? That's any good. Storybook tokens, coins, and lessons learned are not good. So you can't turn stone into those. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add. Whenever you assign a die, if you have one of these lesson learned tokens in your possession, you can send this with that die, and you'll be able to change the die by 1 pip up or down. So you can change a 4 to a 5 or a 5 to a 4 if you want to, and you return this to the supply. The last place you can go to is the market, and you go to the market. You can spend the coin to get any good. You could spend return 2 goods of the same type to the supply to get 1 other good. Or you could turn in 3 any goods to get a coin. Once all the players have sent their workers where they want them to go, then the start player is going to take the village die, give it a good roll, and then they're going to place those die onto the hilltop tile, making sure not to alter the value of the die, because those values on the dice is what they have to work with this month. Then on a player's turn, they're going to take their family die that they had locked in, place it with the village die, and then they're going to start assigning their dice to their workers as they see fit. Once that player has made his final decision on which workers he's going to assign his dice to, then he can start taking those actions in those spaces in any order he wants, one at a time. So he goes up to the valley, he has that worker there, and he has the dice to fulfill that action. So he's going to get 2 storybooks and 1 coin from the supply and place it next to his player board. Then he's going to grab his worker and his family die to show that he's done that action. But he's going to leave the village die in that spot for the time being. Next, he's going to come down to the market, and he decides that he's going to spend this coin to get 1 wood from the supply. Okay, place that next to his player board. Then he grabs those guys. Next, he's going to go over to the river, and he had the dice to assign to that worker. So he's going to get 2 stone from the supply. Grab this guy. Now, this guy up here, he didn't have the die to fulfill him, so he's going to come home unresolved. Thing is, whenever you have an unresolved worker, they get one of these lesson learned tokens that they could use on a later turn. Now that he's done all his actions, he can craft any comforts that he has in his hand if he has the resources for it. So remember, he had this toy, and that requires 1 wood, 1 stone, and 1 storybook, which is why he sent the guy to the market to get that wood. He's going to return those to the supply, and now he's going to craft this comfort next to his board, and that scores him 6 points at the end of the game. Now that he's crafted all the comforts that he can craft, he's going to discard down to 3. And that is the end of his turn. Then the next player is going to take all the village die add it to that hilltop tile, making sure he doesn't mess with the values, and then he's going to take his turn. Once all players have taken their turn, the month will end and we will set up for the next month. We will remove the top metal card and the top forest card, revealing the new cards for the next month. We will turn this river dial 1 notch clockwise, like so. We would discard the traveler from the end. We will also discard the leftmost comfort card in the display and move the other ones to the left, revealing a new comfort card. We would do same thing for the improvement cards, discarding that one and moving these down. And then we will pass the early bird gets the worm token to the next player clockwise. They will become the first player and they will retrieve the dice from the hilltop tile so they can roll it at the beginning of the next month. Then we will start the next month by revealing a new traveler from the end. When the game ends, all players will have one last opportunity to craft any comfort cards that they have still left in their hand. Once that's done, they will tally up their points. They will count up the points that's on their comfort cards. They will count up the points that's on their improvement cards. Make sure they pay attention to these points right here. So the bookshelf, for every book story token here, I get 3 extra points. We will count up the points that's in the empty slots on their home board. Then we will count up, like these books will give you, for every book you still have, that's 2 victory points. Every coin will give you 1 victory point. And for every 3 resources, you get another victory point. Once all the victory points have been counted up, whoever has the most points will be the winner of Creature Comforts. So, in the past, we've talked about board games that make us think of summer or board games that make us think of the fall. This game here, I think, is a perfect game to go on a list if we were talking about games that make us think of winter months. Because who doesn't like to be cozy when it's winter outside?
I mean, honestly, I don't disagree with you, but honestly, the whole theme, the whole concept of creature comforts just makes me think of being comfortable in my home.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be winter.
It doesn't have to be winter, although in the cold of winter, being cozy is especially appealing.
Yeah, I get it. So,
but I like to be comfortable all year.
So I'm assuming you really like the theme of this game.
I love the theme of this game. Yes.
And then you can see that's why I think it can relate to everybody because, people when they're at home, they like to have their, creature comforts. Like for me, I like my tea.
Well, hot chocolate is my thing in the winter. I love me some chocolate.
Yep, I have to have my slippers,
Nothing like a great book.
Yep, see, so that, like I said, we really love the theme of this game.
Yes.
So I think this game could relate to a lot of people.
Yes.
Now, components, we got the deluxe copy, and the components in the deluxe copy are amazing.
Yes.
So we don't want to go too far into that because, like I said, we got deluxe copy. But I want to jump straight to art. Like, what did you think about the art?
Okay, so the art is charming and playful.
Playful?
Yes, playful.
Okay.
Okay, so on the board game, so you know how you can get various creature comforts. Well, on the board games, a couple of the board games, the artist gave a nod to other board games. And I don't know. That was just.
Yeah, that was real cool of them to give nods. Like they didn't just put like random board games. You
recognized the game, so I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. So I mean, what I liked about the art, like I love the art as a whole.
Yes.
But the art on the comfort cards,
yes,
made me feel comfortable.
Yes.
That's what I like about it. Like the soup. it made me wish it was a scratch and sniff.
Yes.
So I could smell that suit.
Yes.
I mean, that quilt made me wish that this wasn't card, that I could actually hold that card and smell the bounty that you put in the washer coming off this quilt. And you could feel the love that somebody's grandma
Yes.
made this quilt.
Yes.
The apple pie. I was like, I had a sweet tooth just looking at that card. And like you said, the board games. I like that's another one of my creature comforts is board games.
Exactly.
So I was really attracted to the art in this game. It just was charming and comfortable.
It was.
So gameplay. What did you think about the gameplay?
Well, I really enjoyed the worker placement. And having to place the dice, that just added a whole nother dimension, which just made it even more enjoyable and actually made it more interesting because you had some decisions to make.
Yeah, you definitely had some decisions because usually you just send your worker out. Now you got to send your worker and then your dice. And you got to try to figure it out in order to get your resources.
Yes.
So I did like the gameplay. I like this worker. This was a new type of worker placement for me.
Yes, I enjoyed that.
I did enjoy that.
Yes.
And it wasn't hard.
It wasn't hard. And what I liked is even if you weren't able to get all the resources that you had hoped, it wasn't a total loss.
Yeah, you didn't feel too bad because, there were times when you got 4 workers. I send one worker to a place that requires 3 dice, and then I send another worker to a place that requires 2 dice. You only got 6 die.
Exactly.
So now I got 2 more workers, and I can't split that 1 die, so I know somebody's coming back unresolved.
Exactly.
But it kind of gives you, like, you done sent out a plan B. Like, you got a plan A worked out in your head, but if plan A don't go off, plan B, like, oh, okay, since I got a worker there, I can send that dice there instead and get that.
Yeah.
So I really like it's just not a total, wash if your worker comes back unresolved.
Exactly.
Also, they also get one of those lesson learned.
Well, see, I feel that's what I was thinking. They get a lesson learned, so that's still valuable. So I really like the aspect of even if you don't get exactly what you want, you can still maximize your turn.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the teach?
Now, I thought this game was pretty, I say it all the time, but yes, easy to teach, easy to learn.
Yeah, it is easy to teach. So, usually when I introduce Alicia to a game, I go over the game, give it a couple playthroughs before I bring it to her, so I'm fully prepared. This game was sent to us by Kids Table Board Games. Thank you. And I learned the game with her at the table. We learned it together, and we had a great game of it, So, yeah, it's easy to teach, easy to learn, and it's just pretty much just making sure, like, the complexity comes from sending your workers and sending your dice.
Exactly.
But all you're doing is creating your creature comforts.
Yes.
So overall, what did you think about this game?
I love this game. It was very, honestly, I don't want to be cliche, but I'm about to be. It was a very comfortable game for me.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it was. It actually is. I mean.
In fact, honestly, when he was explaining the theme and he was going over the rules, I said, "Oh, this is a easier version of Everdale."
Yeah, you know what? I was getting Everdale vibes off this game.
Yes.
So I did enjoy it. So,
Yes.
and Everdale is my favorite game of all time.
Yes.
So this, like, if I really want to get my Everdale fix, but I don't want to, like, think too hard, this is a game I would take. But this won't replace Everdale. Everdale's my love.
But I really enjoyed this game because it has enough strategy in it, but it's not, it was just
It was
comfortable
relaxing. Yeah.
and relaxing and fun. It was
Yeah,
fun.
this game is fun.
Yes.
So that's what we think about creature comforts. We really enjoyed this game. Now, if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
We are Black Board Gaming.
We will see you next time.